Okay. The 32nd order of the day is consideration of the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer Forensic of Nigeria and for related matters. Honour members recall the report was laid on Wednesday, 26 January 2022. Honour Benilar will move for its consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Benny La. I represent Langtang North and South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, may I move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer Forensics of Nigeria and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. I don't want to look like platoon matter. Yes, not BO, you have spoken, so let's go behind for Quara again. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Colleagues, with their permission, I will go into the supplementary order paper. You don't have? So, Sergeant at Arms, why do you want to refuse Honorable Abedi? Who wants to kill the motion for Magbila? No, they are saying the kill. I heard them saying so. Which one? No. No. Well, our good friends, I want to believe that we are trying to make Nigeria governable and for the good and corporate existence of the institution. We are looking into it for the second time, or the third time again, if not fourth time. And I believe no, sir. Honorable Bente, you are my good friend, you are a good friend. So also, what is that? Honourable members, the next business of the day is presentation of one bill, and I invite the clerk to read the short title.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. National Marine Corps Establishment Bill 2022, first reading.
Johnny, can you approach the acting chief whip?
Take it again,
so
please.
that I can get you clearly, please.
Please, colleagues.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. National Marine Corps Establishment Bill 2022, first reading.
Thank you. The second business of the day is presentation of a report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Interior and Population on the need for the federal government of Nigeria to ensure that the investigation and case against Senator Ike Ikoromadu by the Metropolitan Police and the Crown Prosecution Service in the United Kingdom conforms to the rule of law and respect for the right of the individual as enshrined in the European Convention on Human Rights, standing in the name of Honorable Yusuf Buba Yakub. All members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 28 June 2022. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Yakub is invited to move to present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Yusuf Buba Yakub. I represent Gombe Home Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committees on Foreign Affairs, Interior and Population on the need for the federal government of Nigeria to ensure that the investigation and case against Senator Ike Ekweremadu by the Metropolitan Police and the Crown Prosecution Service in the United Kingdom conforms to the rule of law and respect for the right of the individual as enshrined in the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, HR 2106-2022, as referred on the 28/6/2022. May I lay the report, Mr. Speaker? I so move.
The spokesman of the House.
Thank you, most distinguished Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Benjamin Okezie Carlo, and I represent the people of Nigeria, starting from Bende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia State. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by the Chairman, Foreign Affairs Committee of the House. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Honorable Buba, you may go ahead and lay a report. The next order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, empowered with the responsibility, among others, to regulate, determine the standards of knowledge, skills, and qualification of persons seeking to become professional strategic managers in Nigeria and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House Leader, only members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 21st July 2022. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read a third time.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I am Comrade Peter Ohiozija Patterson, MNI. I move that a bill for an act to establish the Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, empowered with the responsibility, amongst others, to regulate and determine the standards of knowledge, skills, and qualification of persons seeking to become professional strategic managers in Nigeria, and for related matters, HB 1024, be read for the third time. I so move.
Honorable Maki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I'm Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Madam Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion heavily moved by the majority leader of the House. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, empowered with the responsibility, amongst others, to regulate and determine the standards of knowledge, skills, and qualification of persons seeking to become professional strategic managers in Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read third time and pass. The next order of the day is the third reading of bill for an act to establish Public Health Practitioners Council of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of public health management and administration in Nigeria and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House, the honorable members recall the bill was adopted by the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Wednesday, 28 July 2022. I therefore call on the leader to move that the bill be read the third time.
Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I move that a bill for an act to establish the Public Health Practitioners Council of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training and practice of public health management and administration in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 1236, be read for the third time. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I stand to second a motion for a bill as moved by the leader of the House. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerks is battled the long title of the bill.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Public Health Practitioners Council of Nigeria charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of public health management and administration in Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read third time and passed. The next order of the day is a motion on investigation of the credibility, transparency, and accountability of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, electoral process, including its interpretation and implementation of the Electoral Act 2022, standing the Honorable Mark Tesegbila. Honorable Bila is invited to move the motion. Please don't kill it.
Thank you very much, the Right Honorable Speaker, my very honorable colleagues. Mark Tesegbila, representing Gwe East, Gwe West Federal Constituency of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise to move a motion on the investigation of the credibility, transparency, and accountability of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, its electoral processes, including its interpretation and implementation of the Electoral Act 2022. The House is aware of the concerns in the country on INEC's shortcomings in the conduct of recent off-season elections in Ekiti and Osun states, regardless of the added focus, attention, and resources, and the consequent fear about its ability to conduct free and fair elections in the forthcoming 2023 elections, when voting will be required to take place simultaneously across the country. The House notes that these concerns include INEC's insistence on terminating the ongoing voters registration exercise regardless of the millions of Nigerians who will be disenfranchised, citing the need to produce voters' cards on time. Allegations that results from polling units are not actually transmitted directly to INEC's central server in Abuja as claimed by INEC, but are collated on computers by e-collation officers at the ward levels across the country, who are the ones who transmit the results from their systems to the central server and are able to manipulate the votes cast for each candidate at that level, but not the number of accredited voters. The House also notes other concerns about INEC's lack of entrenched due process in decision-making, which sees it make and change guidelines and regulations arbitrarily, allegedly to the benefit of certain political parties, and sometimes in conflict with provisions of the 2022 Electoral Act. Other allegations include the ability to tamper with the bimodal voters accreditation system, BVAS, machined by INEC's technical team, who are usually deployed across the country to monitor the functioning of the machines. The House is worried about the recent unguarded and erroneous interpretation of certain provisions of the 2022 Electoral Act by the INEC resident electoral officer in Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Mike Igini, who, while referring to Section 115D of the 2022 Electoral Act, said among several things that politicians will go to jail for buying more than one nomination form, claiming we are preventing them from being candidates for prison and they are calling our names everywhere, implying INEC is making decisions about politicians and the electoral process based on flawed interpretation of the act without recourse to the National Assembly or a court of competent jurisdiction for proper interpretation. The House is also worried as originators and custodians of the 2022 Electoral Act about the controversy Mr. Igini's comments has generated across the country and the potential this has to unnecessarily heat up the polity and instigate frivolous and unwarranted litigation that can disrupt the smooth conduct of the forthcoming elections. The House therefore resolves to mandate the Committee on Electoral Matters to investigate the Independent National Electoral Commission's process of voters' registration, including alleged constraints on timely procurement through production of voters' cards all through the year up to 2023 elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission's voting process from accreditation to transmission of results, including a practical demonstration to the Nigerian public to ascertain the existence of a central server, the transmission of results from polling units, the existence of e-collation officers, and their ability to manipulate voting results at that level, and their ability or not to manipulate the BVAS machine. Proper interpretation of provisions of Section 115D and other provisions of the 2022 Electoral Act by INEC, its national commissioners, RECs, and other staff, including the status of legal advice available within the Commission to guide the implementation of the Act and determine whether any infractions have been committed by Mr. Mike Igini or any other INEC staff in their interpretation and implementation of the Act. And finally, existing due process in decision-making by INEC with regards to guidelines, regulations, and whether any of such guidelines, any of such decisions conflict with the provisions of the Act, and to report back to the House in 8 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Honorable Chisom.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Chisom Province TK is my name. I speak for the good people of Eleme, Oyibo, and Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Rivers State. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my honorable colleague, Mark Tessa Miller. I so second.
Do we put the question? It's a very straightforward motion.
I just want clarification, please, Mr. Speaker. Come down. Mr. Speaker, sir, Awaji Nombek Dagomi Abiante, and the people on Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, we have already made this law. I do not know if we also want to remain in the realm of interpreting it. I don't know if it is also within our purview to interpret the law that we have made. Because this is telling us to interpret it, to investigate it. If two commissioners, or a national commissioner, EREC, if they say things that are not in tandem with the law, the courts will interpret, and that should settle it. On the other hand, the provisions of that same law is there will be hard copies which will be used to benchmark whatever results are transmitted electronically. Are we also going to delve into the arena of trying to find out what that should mean? You have a hard copy. If it doesn't tally with what you have transmitted, of course, the law has taken care of that. Probably the area that we should concern ourselves with is to find out if the beavers has the potential of being manipulated. But as to interpreting what we have already passed as a law, I don't know if we have that power, sir. That's just what I want to.
Honorable Abente,
thank you.
You are a lawyer. That is, you are very apt and you are on point. We do not have the powers to interpret laws that we have made. The only arm that has those power and that power is the judiciary and is the court. But as to the functionality of what we are doing, it is our own, within our own oversight function. I want to believe whatever we are going to pass, the committee, in doing justice to it, will look at the relevant areas that will not contradict or contravene the provision of the Electoral Act and our Constitution in terms of the working nature of Parliament and what we are supposed to be doing, so that we'll make progress. Chisom, you still want to argue?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to differ a little bit. What this motion is trying to achieve, Mr. Speaker, is that, yes, we have a law, but we're trying to determine whether this act, which the National Assembly has passed, is actually being implemented based on the experience of the immediate past elections in Ekiti and Osun State. Mr. Speaker, we have committees that oversight institutions of the government that we already have a law. So what we are trying to do is just oversight. That's what this motion is talking about.
Honorable Chisholm, I'm sorry I'm not interjecting you. But understand today that even on the areas that you think may not be functional, because elections have already been held, there may be cases and litigations in court, competent court or law. It will be the responsibility of the courts to look at what has happened. If we want to see the functionality, for instance, of Beaver, the committee are at the liberty to go there, show us what they are doing. But when you say you want to see the functionality of the law, no, sir. I still want to interpret. We do not have those rights. I think we should not exacerbate the debate. Allow the committee to look into it and act in accordance with what is scheduled and what is possible, so that we do not waste time. We have wasted so much, we have taken so much time today, and I believe we have not started a constitutional report. There are a lot of work to be done. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's a bit. Colleagues, the next order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to repeal the Public Complaint Act, Cap P37 Laws Supervision Nigeria 2004, and enact the Public Complaint Bill 2002 for the embellishment of the Public Complaint Commission with the wide powers to inquire into complaints by members of the public concerning the administrative actions of any public authority and companies or their officials, and provide legal framework for making public interest and for related matters. All members recall the bill was referred to Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 27 July 2022. The leader will move for its consideration. I don't know, except if the matters have been sorted out. On this particular bill, I remember the issues raised were the amendment brought were for constitutional amendment. And so we cannot repeal or amend those areas of interest through sitting of the parliament, because in any amendment of constitutional, you require two-thirds minimum threshold. In some, more than that. Is there a contrary advice? No, I don't know whether it's a contrary advice. Why is it even brought? German rules.
Mr. Speaker, item 4 requires a constitutional amendment. We don't even have the two-thirds majority to pass this bill. Accordingly, in fact, I've briefed the leader that item 4 should be stepped down because we don't have the quorum to pass a constitutional amendment. I so submit.
Thank you, please. While I want to advise that we will allow you to do your work freely, issues and matters that have been deliberated upon, if you want to return it after a decision has been taken, it's only fair you consult with us. But for a decision that has been taken on behalf of all of us, and then we'll see, and then without consultation, it doesn't make sense. I think that such should stop. Warn your members, please. I won't take it kindly again. Constitution stepped down by the leave of the House for further legislative actions. The next order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to amend the display and use of national flag, certain flags. Is it cutting or certain flags? Certain flags and the National Coat of Arms of 1960 and following matters. All the members will recall that the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 11 December 2019. The leader will move for his consideration.
Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, I move that a bill for an act to amend it and the display and use of the national flag, certain flags, and National Coat of Arms and Act of 1990 and for related matters, HB 535, be now considered. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I stand to second the motion for a bill as moved by the Leader of the House. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against any, the ayes have it. Respectfully, the next order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Development and Social Studies to provide for the control of its membership and promote the practice of development and social studies in Nigeria and for related matters. All members will recall the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 7 April 2022. The leader moved for its consideration.
Once again, Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Development and Social Studies to provide for the control of its members
Honorable Sajos,
and promote the practice of
approach the
development
chair.
and social studies in Nigeria and for related matters, HB
No.
1492. be now
John Day.
considered. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Approach the chair. Abiyanti. No, I have something to discuss with you. Approach the chair. Approach the chair.
Thank you, Mr.
Respected colleagues,
Speaker.
the next order, thank you.
My honorable colleagues, I stand to second the motion as moved by the Leader of the House. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of legislative. Approach the chair.
No, sir. No, sir. I will approach the chair.
You don't want to come today.
Honorable John Day. Honorable John Day.
Are you disobeying the chair?
Speaker is inviting you.
Approach the chair.
The chair invited you.
Order,
Approach
order,
the
my
chair.
honorable colleagues. Order, my honorable colleagues. Honorable John Day, as requested by the Speaker. Thank you.
The next order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of legislative houses.
Honorable John Day,
Nigeria,
comply.
the only members who
Honorable
recall
John
the
Day,
bill was
comply.
Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 14 October 2021.
Oh, I will use.
The leader will move for his consideration. Leader, I say approach the chair.
Honorable John Day.
What's the point
Honorable
of
John
order?
Thank you very much, sir.
Speaker is inviting you, please.
Marky,
Before you raise your.
Marky. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is John J., and I am from Benue State, Boko Capital Constituency. Your Excellency, I remember last week, this number 7, which is should be rightly titled Elongation of Tenure, was brought up. It is wrongly titled here, Retirement Age. We agreed in the chamber here last week, Your Excellency. You were sitting in chair. I remember.
What is the point of order?
It's personal explanation, sir.
No. Okay.
Personal explanation against number 7.
Okay.
That it shouldn't even be taken. It shouldn't even be considered.
Is it what was agreed?
What was agreed that you cannot shave a man's head in his absence. We are talking about states, retirement age of legislative staff of states without their consent. I cannot remember any time when this bill went in for public hearing and speakers of states assemblies or members or officers of state governments were sent here to give consent or to even speak on this bill.
Okay.
So we cannot be putting loads on states without even asking them. Even in this chamber, sir, even here, even in the National Assembly here, sir, if you take this bill to the public hearing, it is just in order that they have an input. Let them agree that, yes, we want our age, retirement age, taken from 60 to 65. It will make more sense. We don't understand why it will come in at a time when everybody, more than 4/5 of the members have left, and it is coming in as a supplementary in this manner, we beg you, sir.
Well,
We do know that the gavel
Let-
is a two-edged sword.
Abente,
two-edged
please,
sword, right, Honorable
I say
Speaker.
approach the chair.
The gavel is a two-edged sword,
Well,
right, Honorable Speaker.
Well, thank you very much.
It
my-
is your hand.
Thank
We
you very
beg
much.
you, sir. We
Thank you
beg
very
you,
much,
sir.
my brother.
We beg you, sir.
I think we do not need to exacerbate what is before us. If you recall the last time this bill was brought under consideration, there was argument as to whether we could make laws for the good governance of the judicial, the other arms of legislature. And after perusing through what has happened so far, it is in order. That's the reason why we are returning it back for consideration. As to whether and why this is being brought, maybe if you are quoting the motion, which is very right, nice, that we just took under consideration, could we have said we will not take the consideration of this motion because of this, and then the various bills for the third reason that we have done? I think we do not need to spoil our work or make our work look dirty when it is very clean.
No, we're not.
No, I am just advising. I'm just advising.
We are begging you, sir.
I'm just
We
advising.
are begging you, sir.
I have just.
have the gavel,
It is not. This is just one among how many matters brought under consideration. This is with the good intention. No
the intention
ill feeling.
behind this is not correct. It's not right.
No, no. Why it was stepped down
Perfect.
was as to whether we have the right. And let me explain further. It is not all bills. Read their rules that are supposed to, or in the opinion, he said in the opinion of the speaker, if he's found it right, he will commit it to committee of the whole. It is contained in a standing order.
But the speaker is speaking for us, and we are saying it
No,
should
I
go
say
for
in
public hearing.
the rule didn't say. It said
We
in
voted
the
the speaker, and we are telling the speaker that this bill should go for public hearing.
no. That's not the issue, sir. I want to beg. We are not taking for second reading. We have gone to that level. It is for further legislative input. The further legislative input, as the reason raised, I remember that day it was Honorable, our brother from Delta, Osai, that preferred the solution to say, no, we have the right to take. And there was argument as to whether we have the right or not do not have the right. I want to believe that allow us to get into the committee of all. If there's need for us to step it down, we'll step it down. There's no problem. I'm not a worker, and I may never be a worker in this place.
At my age, I'm not one. I cannot
Thank-
be one
thank
at
you.
this age, but
We are
I think
all-
it is
thank-
morally wrong.
Thank you.
For these same officers who benefited from what happened 2 years ago.
I don't know what happened 2 years
Come
ago.
back to it now. It is wrong, sir.
Be guided.
Morally wrong.
Be guided, sir.
You have this gavel.
Yes, sir.
and
No. I
Honorable
will
Jonday,
use the
Honorable
gavel
Jonday,
negative.
please be guided.
I will use the
Honorable
gavel
Jonday,
negative.
please be guided.
Thank
Please.
you. You know, I will use it negatively.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm coming under privilege, Mr. Speaker. My name is Agbedi Yetemina Frederick. I represent Sagbama Ikremo Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, the privilege I enjoy here is the mandate the people of my local government, the people of my federal constituency gave to me. Mr. Speaker, I'm going through item 7 here. We are talking about age of staff of legislative houses in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, even the local government councillors form the legislative arm of the local government. The state has state houses of assembly. And then our legislature here. Mr. Speaker, the privilege I enjoy did not cover that mandate to come here and increase age for legislative structure in the local government, in the state, and here. Mr. Speaker, if it is a bill talking about National Assembly, it's a different matter. Here we are talking about staff of legislative houses in Nigeria, which goes through the entire 3 arms, the structure from federal to local government. Now, Mr. Speaker, local governments are even unable to pay salaries. They are unable to pay salaries. And we are trying to increase retirement age, Mr. Speaker. Again, we are suffering from unemployment. My own daughter, my own children are unemployed. And people will rise up to say experience. When those people were employed, were they experienced? They were employed as young men, young women, and they served until they became experienced, and they have worked up to retirement age. And we don't want our teeming unemployed youths. Mr. Speaker, I don't have the mandate to come here and legislate to increase the age of staffs at the local government legislative structure as well as the state legislative structure. And that will mean that I will be waiting for a report back home.
I want to beg
Mr.
of you.
Speaker,
I want to
if
beg
we are
of you.
speaking for the people, it is high time we don't speak against the interests and desires of the people. And so I move that this bill be stepped down, Mr. Speaker. I so plead with other colleagues who support this
I want to beg
point
of
of order.
you. We could be emotional at times when it comes to matter. And we forget, and at times we forget that we have taken similar decisions in other areas. Interests vary at points and at various levels in the process. And that's what possible I will consider. You have taken decisions, these chambers have taken, and the president have signed, Nigerians have applauded, increasing the service year of teachers. Teachers are employed across board from local government to state to federal. Please, as we make points of reasoning to where we say we do not want A, B, C, let us not spoil what we have done, legitimately done. You did that one, but you know that there are laws that are residual, there are those that are concurrent, and there are those that are exclusive. So it is not on all matters that you say, I do not have the jurisdiction or right to make certain laws. Please, I want to beg of us. You are a very experienced legislator, and I want to respect that. And I want to believe that we could vary. Thank you, sir. So we are not at the general second reading, so we are not expected to argue. Is to go into the house. If there are areas you want to, for instance, repeal. We have seen reports here where you delete for A to D. So why do we have to exacerbate and make things look as if? No, we are all for the good governance of this system. Thank you, leader. No, he agrees with me. It's an agreement.
Ojonde, approach the acting chief whip. Ojonde, when speaker is calling you didn't attend to him, please approach the acting chief whip.
No, he will come here, so don't worry.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, before you put the question,
Those in favor say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Leader, move that we
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
deserve into committee of the whole consider reports.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker, sir. Point of order.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Order 11.2.
Yes, sir.
Page 64.
Yes, sir.
If the opinion of the Speaker in committee of the whole House, the chairman, as to the decision of a question is challenged, and we are doing so, sir.
Yes, sir.
The Speaker or the chairman shall direct that the lobbies be cleared on such direction being given. The doors of the chamber shall be locked.
Yes, sir.
And the division shall be taken.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, on this very matter, to save the integrity of this 9th Assembly, Mr. Speaker, I urge you to take a division.
Thank
Let
you.
us know those that have voted for this very bill and those that are voting against it.
Thank
you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, my brother. Your point of order is well noted, but I want to tell you it's out of order because it says in the committee of the whole. Are we in committee of the whole? We are not in the committee of the whole. So your point of order is noted. Thank you. And rule out of order. Yes, sir. Move for the.
We'll get to the committee of the whole. We'll get there. We'll get to the committee of the whole.
Move for the House to dissolve into committee of the whole consider report.
Very quickly, Mr. Speaker, sir. Very quickly, sir. House, please. The motion was...
Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes.
It was put.
Mr. Speaker.
Not move, sir.
You are absent. You are absent-minded.
No, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Move it. I was not allowed.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
It has not been moved.
No, wait. The same point of order.
The motion was not moved.
Didn't interpret it properly. Mr. Speaker, you had a wrong interpretation, sir. Mr. Speaker, you had a wrong interpretation, sir. He said in the speaker or speaker is not in the committee of the whole. He said speaker or, so if it is speaker, Mr. Speaker, it is in plenary. And that is where we are, sir. Committee of the whole or, wrong interpretation, sir. Let us look at the English again. As speaker, it is in plenary. And as chairman, committee of the whole.
Maybe when you are reading, you are silent about speaker, but you drew my attention in the committee. The speaker doesn't preside committee of the whole. Please. I think there's nothing special on this matter. Let us not be as if heaven will fall. No. We're not going to do anything outside the wishes of this parliament.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, just read it to yourself, sir. Order 11, 2, page 64.
Move for the House to dissolve into committee of the whole.
Mr. Speaker, as directed, I hereby move that we dissolve to the committee of the whole to consider report. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Mikey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I stand to second the motion heavily moved by the leader of the House that the House should move to the committee of the whole. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's it. Dissolve into committee of the consider reports and bills. Respected colleagues, the first bill to be considered for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center, Mubi, Adamawa State, and for other matters. I now invite the leader to give a synopsis of the bill. So you are absent-minded that time, and you said you didn't take question, and we'll ask put question. The same thing now.
Yes, sir. I actually was about to move that bill before the discussion started. I never actually went back to it because I was not asked to do so. Item 7, the one we're talking about.
You moved the motion, you didn't know. Maybe you're absent-minded. So
I'm not absent-minded, Mr.
Thank you.
Speaker. I'm a very sound mind.
Give us a synopsis of this. This is what they have been asked to do.
Mr. Speaker, item 24 is a pretty straightforward bill for the establishment of a medical center. This is from Senate, and it's an establishment, bill. And I believe that the establishment of an institution of this kind is for the good of the country, and everybody who reside in that part of the country will benefit from its use. So I urge my colleagues to support the consideration. Thank you.
Well, further to it, this is a bill that we have earlier on considered, taken to, but declined assent. So he returned it to us, and those areas of concern have been cleaned up. That is the reason for the purpose. It has already been considered earlier on. Clause 1. Four, 6, 7, plus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. The schedules, explanatory memoranda, long title. Respected colleagues, the second bill to be considered is for a bill for an act to establish a national agricultural development fund to provide funds for agricultural development and for related matters. I now invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Chair, my colleagues, this is similar to the one we just handled. Both of them are establishment bills, and I urge you to support the consideration of this bill. Thank you.
Clause 1. 3, 4, 5, plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, plus 9, plus 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, plus 17, plus 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27. The schedules, explanatory memoranda, long title. Respected colleagues, the third bill to be considered is for an act to establish a Chartered Risk Management Institute of Nigeria to serve as a professional body for practitioners and determine the standard of knowledge and skills to be attained by a person seeking to become members of the Chartered Risk Management Institute of Nigeria and for related matters. I now invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill.
Again, Mr. Chair, this is another establishment bill. This time around, this one seeks to establish the Institute of Professionals who among themselves will regulate themselves and fund their organization. And so long as it does not impact on the federation funds, I think it does not have any negative effect, but it has the capacity to ensure that the profession is properly regulated and the Nigerian nation benefits from such proper coordination. So I urge my colleagues to support the consideration. Thank you very much.
plus 16, plus 17, plus 18, plus 19, plus 20, 21, plus 22, plus 23, plus 24, plus 25, plus 26, plus 27, 28, 29, 30. 28, 29, we have carried 30, 31, 31, 32, 33, 33. Abiante, what's close at 3? 33. I want to believe your interest on all the bills.
Chairman, sir, look at the numbering of the bills again, sir. The numbering of the bills, sir. 26, especially that clause 19, sir.
But he let me go in. That's why I called attention. If I was doing that to test whether we are together, and nobody is telling me I will bring my attention. No. Explanatory memoranda from 28. Long title. Colleagues, the next bill is for an act to repeal the Copyright Act, Cap C28 Laws of in Nigeria, to enact the Copyright Act to provide for the regulation, protection, and administration of copyright and related matters. Any leader?
From what I have here, seeks to repeal the existing act and to reenact a new one that will help them to regulate, protect, and administer copyright practices in the country. I'm sure this has to do with ensuring that, there are new provisions that previously were not there, which are required, for proper administration of copyright activities in the country. I therefore seek the support of our colleagues to see it through. Thank you.
This is one of the most important, one good important bill that, if passed, it will protect the good work of our people, indigenous and both indigenous and foreign, and in terms of plagiarization and other things. And I pray that our people will adhere to, if it is sent to, because it has a lot of attendant consequences for anybody that will go to tamper with somebody's work. Thank you. Clause 1. 1 to 10, 20, 20 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 31, to 51, 51, 51 to 60, 61 to 70, 71 to 81, 81, 82 now to 92, 93 to 108, 109 to 109. Memoranda, long title. Colleagues, the next bill to be considered is for an act to repeal the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Act N90 Laws Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Nigerian Airspace Management Act 2022 for the purpose of I'm not the one that I don't have 28. Well, they decided not to give me, so don't blame me. Sorry. Okay. A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Act Cap N9 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Act 2022 to provide for its organization, control, and organization and for related matters. Yes, Leader, any synopsis?
Mr. Chair, I don't have anything new other than the fact that this is from Senate.
It's not from Senate. They tend to ask from the presidency. We had earlier on considered this bill. We had earlier considered the bill. This one and all the related bills in the aviation sector. I think we tend to ask from the presidency after, so even though it was an executive bill. Thank you. Clause 1, 2, 2 to 3, 3, sorry, 4 to 19, 20 to 39, 40 to 48. I guess that's all. Explanatory memoranda, long title. A bill for an act, that's the next bill to be considered for Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, ACAP, N90 Laws of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Act 2022 for the purpose of providing effective air navigation service in Nigeria, ensuring safety and regulatory of the air navigation in Nigeria and any other space which Nigeria has the responsibility of providing air navigation service and for later matters. I think the same thing with the last one I didn't mention. It was an executive bill we treated, but they have returned to us again after some little observation, hoping that it will be assented to this time around. Plus 1. (11 to 15). 16 to 25, 26 to 42, 2 to 40 to 50, 51 to 57. Rules, explanatory memoranda. Respected colleagues, the next bill to consider for an act to repeal the Small and Medium Scale Industries Development Agency Act and enact the Small and Medium Scale Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, and for related matters. Who is the sponsor of this? Has been. Thank you. plus 1. 1 to 5. 6 to 10. 11 to 22. 23, 29. 30 to 31. Explanatory memorandum is scheduled.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's for clarity purposes, sir. Abiante. Everything here is return. So I don't know what we have actually changed in the bill.
Well, it is
Everything from the title down to is returned. I don't know what we.
the 10 as proposed by the mover of the bill. That's why they have not changed anything. You will have gotten some input on the second column.
No, it's repeal and reenact. Even the old bill is not there.
They have consolidated. Maybe what they didn't do is to separate what was initially there, and then the recommendation of the committee. They had harmonized. The person who was doing that had harmonized. Yes, sir.
I said is referred to Committee on Poverty Alleviation. And work is done on it, even public hearing was held on it. And all the consideration in terms of the former bill and the new bill are harmonized, like you said, and those agreed were returned. So there is no, it's already subjected to public.
There are two kinds of writing reports, two types. You can do that. You can also have the one that will show the different. Yes, sir. But in this case, the person moving the motion have who moved the bill, or those who have moved the bill, have consolidated every other areas of interest into one stretch and presented to the House. Thank you. That's my belief, and it's in order. Where are we? No, well, let me finish this one. Yes. 15 to 31. Explanatory memorandum. Long title. Distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic. Thank you, sir. Colleagues, the next report to be considered is that of Conference Committee on a Bill for an Act to repeal the Colleges of Education Act 1986 to reenact the Federal College of Education and for related matters. This conference, so we didn't need to deliberate further. It's just adoption. Move for the adoption. Leader. For the report.
Mr. Chair and my colleagues, I move for the adoption of a report of the Conference Committee on Federal Colleges of Education, Repeal and Enactment Bill. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Maki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I remain Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Madam Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second motion heavily moved by Majority Leader. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. The report is hereby adopted. The next is the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on a Bill for an Act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer Forensics of Nigeria 2021 and for related matters. Honorable Benila will give the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is not a new bill. This is not the first.
John Day, I thought you have gone.
I'm your friend. I'm your friend, sir.
This bill simply seeks the establishment of a chartered
The chairman is take note.
to provide professional training for those who are specialists in forensics and fraud investigation. It also seeks to establish approaches to conduct forensic and fraud investigation practice. Basically, what it seeks to do is to establish professional conduct and ethics for those in the forensic and fraud investigation practice. Mr. Speaker, we have considered this bill before, a few adjustments made here and there, and I believe that it's a very straightforward bill, and this will go a long way to advance and promote the investigation of forensic and fraud investigation in our country. Thank you.
Colleagues, 1 to 10. (11 to 24). Honorable Woodil, take your seat. Stop moving around. Honorable Woodil, take your seat. No, he's not on his seat. You should take your seat. No, it's Woodil. House leader is working on behalf of the house. He's working on behalf of the house. Where is it? 24. Okay, I've seen it. Schedules. 24 schedules, explanatory memoranda, long 30. The Special Colleagues, the next report to be considered is that of Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Joseph Saua Taka University, Makodi, and for less matters. But Honorable Goro is on the floor. Is it allowed in the procedure of the House?
Sir. You want to say something, sir?
No, I fear that let the chairman not come and claim that he wasn't part of the report.
No, he's represented, very well represented.
You have the floor.
Well, it's a bill that the university was formerly known as Federal University of Agriculture, and this House, indeed the National Assembly, through a bill that got assented to by the President. The name was changed to Joseph Sawan Taka University, and it's supposed to be a conventional university. This is just a bill to back up the change of name to make it properly known as, it is already known and everything changed as Joseph Sawan Taka University Makodi. The bill now is just to give it the teeth to become a conventional university. That is just all.
Thank you.
About the bill.
While I respect the mover of the bill, my brother, and the leader whose name has been changed, named after the university, I want to plead with colleagues that at times with 3 reasons. I remember just last week, a colleague of ours moved for the establishment of the university with another person's name, and we were so emotional on the floor to try to kill the bill. These are part of the things that I say, don't look at today, look at tomorrow and yesterday too. Thank you very much. Clause 1. 2. 2 to 10, 3 to 10. 11 to 27. 28 to 30. 29 We are taking up to 30, and I think that's the last one, where you have the short title. And that's where the amendment mainly has taken place. Clause 30. Sir, schedules, explanatory memoranda, and the long title. I thought we are done. The next report on the bill for an act to repeal the public complaint. No, this one we have taken down because it is a constitutional amendment, not through this procedure. The next one, act to amend the display and use of the national flag, certain flags, and the National Coat of Arms Act of 1960 and for related matters, 2019. Plus one, two, three, explanatory memoranda, long title. Is it the last? It's for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Development and Social Studies to provide for the control of its membership and promote the practice of development and social studies in Nigeria and for related matters. Whose bill is this? Who's giving this synopsis? Put this as a leader speak. Do you have any synopsis to give us, leader? Thank you. 1 plus 1, 2. Three to 11. It's a small sheet. We have finished this one. You don't have? One sheet. Leader. Honorable Adu. What we have, I suppose, every member should have, is an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Development and Social Studies to provide for the control of its membership and promote the practice of development and social studies. No, you say you don't have, and I want you to have. I want you to have. Solo? Eh? Solo, are you there? Do you have the bill? You have all the bills. Take everything. Said everything carried. That's all. What is the problem? Solo, have you joined? Have you joined Solo? (11 to 20), 20 to 22. (23). The addendum. Everything is carried. Explanatory memoranda. Long title. Thank you. Colleagues, next we will bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age of staff of the legislative houses in Nigeria for related matters. Carried? No. It can't be. It's not tenure elongation. Staff, are you elongating for the? If you are elongating, yes, for the entire staff. I don't know. I don't know. Clause 1. What's the point of order?
No explanation, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my dear colleagues. Solomon Maren is my name, and I represent the people of Mangu Bokos. Mr. Chairman,
Have you finished the PDP meeting? Caucus meeting?
there is no meeting today, sir.
No, there's meeting.
It has been shifted to tomorrow. It has been shifted to tomorrow, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm concerned that we are about to make a law that includes members of the houses of assemblies and the legislative arms of local government shall be doing in making the laws that control what happens in their own legislative system. And so I'm worried that this bill should have a rethink about it, because with this bill now, it means that we are trying to now go and make laws for the states. When we have the State House of Assembly, we are making laws also for the local councils where we have the legislative councils. So I'm worried that this bill should be stepped down so that it can be redrafted to be for the members or the staff of the National Assembly alone, so that we allow the State Houses of Assemblies to make laws for their states
Honorable Flatter.
in accordance to our rules, accordance to our constitution. I so submit, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah, quoting constitution, it will be apt to help the chairman and other members so that he guide us properly. You quote this relevant section of the constitution. Thank you. We're waiting for you to. Yes. No, let's get this one first. assume you don't have any constitutional point of order that you have raised? Okay, mention to us, refer us to the page, to the section.
You all know the C well.
I don't blame you.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
No. It's good to.
Unfortunately, I'm not carrying my glasses and it's very difficult for me to read. But let me refer to.
No, there's no. Refer us to the section.
Yes, sir,
That's the
section-
procedure of the House, and then we'll work on it.
Section 4, sir.
Section.
Section 4, Part 2, Section 4 of legislative powers. It spells out exactly what the powers of the National Assemblies are and what the powers of the state
My brother, that is not why you will find relevancy of what you want to argue about making laws. If you want to find relevancy about making laws, you go to the third schedule or the schedules where you have the list on the concurrent exclusive. These are the ones that you refer those to. I have begged, let us not work on emotions. And I just refer you to the last work that was done by this House, which every Nigerian applauded, increasing the number of years of service for Nigerian teachers, which cut across from primary to at the local government to the national level.
Mr. Chairman, sir, if you look at the interpretation of this bill, sir, in the interpretation of this bill, it says legislative houses means the National Assembly and state houses of assembly. Of course, by implication, local government and in public service. Well, for me, I would prefer a situation where the bill reads that it's a bill for an act to make provisions for retirement.
This cannot be National Assembly now, and state houses of assembly.
No, but it shouldn't mean state house of assembly. So we should delete state house of assembly.
Your problem is that because you people are the previous society, for me, who was an activist of labor, I would like to gain from whatever good laws the federal government is making for the tertiary institution that I work in the tertiary institution. It could be for them. At the end of the day, it's for all Nigerians, and we gain. And so references are made easier.
It's talking about all the legislature.
The problem is that, sir, the state house of assemblies are also there. They have powers to make laws for their states. And I see no reason why we should be making laws for them when they have constitutional powers to make.
Do you want to throw the baby with the bad water all?
Yes, sir. For now, yes, sir. Yes, sir. For now. For now, yes, sir. For now.
Well, I'm wondering, I just asked the chairman rules, because at times we leave the state at which we are supposed to argue certain things, and we come to the wrong point. This is for consideration of reports. This particular amendment that the movers are seeking to have was adequately gazetted. I just asked him to confirm. It was gazetted. So we come now and are arguing as if we are doing first reading, second reading. Second reading, no. But it was done. Chairman rules. Take your seat so that you explain. What we are doing is that we are doing second. No, the question was this thing gazetted? No, let him answer. Take your seat. Explain from there. Don't come to me.
Yeah, the bill has been gazetted. I've asked the printing press.
Listen to our colleagues in silence.
They'll bring the gazette. I've asked that my secretariat will bring the gazette now.
Okay, we we don't see the Gazette. We don't see it.
I'll come to you.
Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm comrade this time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman and colleagues. I'm talking about morality. Yes. Morality, Chairman and colleagues. 2 years ago, or maybe less, we threw out a CNA here. We threw out over 150 assistant directors, deputies, and directors here in this National Assembly because of this same thing we're arguing. Is it morally right for us to come back through the back door and say what was wrong yesterday, today is right?
Okay, thank you very much. Excuse me, let me rule on this one. He brought a very germane, and this is where we're missing the point. At that time, what we had and why those ones possibly and others that were affected had to go was embedded in the condition of service. Even though by the two houses, Senate and House of Representatives, some of us, myself, argued that it should remain, whatever that was passed. I consider our resolution and we should respect our resolution. Not us to come and say our resolution is not correct. My colleagues in leadership could bear me witness, they're here. So mine is whatever we have done. They said no, it's supposed to have come through an act, and that's where we are having the issue now. As far as I'm concerned, we need institutional memory, we need capacity, we need a lot of things. Personally, I'm saying so. We may differ in an argument as to what possibly. I'm not for any person. I said, those years past that you are talking about, because it was in the condition of service, I felt certain things that were done was not correct. But the condition of service were passed by the two chambers. And gazetted.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for again giving me this opportunity. Nothing personal. You are my friends, you are my leader, you are my speaker. Yes. Nothing personal. My boss, and you know I respect you. But if you are talking about institutional memory, somebody that has worked for 30 years has not got institutional memory unless he's added 5 years? I don't get it.
Let me explain so that we bring all understanding to ourselves. We have increased the years of service for judges. Is it that we do not have unemployed lawyers in the street? Or those who wish to be at the bench, at the upper bench? Could it be the reason? I don't think so. No, it's not argument. You see, it is our argument that we keep on raising. Yes, Abedi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Chairman, honorable colleagues. Yeah, Chairman, I want to thank you for your magnanimity in allowing us to Al-Hassan, I'm speaking. Al-Hassan, you are not seated in your seat, so you are not leader. Chairman, thank you for your magnanimity in allowing us to express the opinions that need to be expressed about this bill. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, very importantly, the legislature is the #1 political hotspot of any democracy. And Mr. Speaker, as we are here, you know you have other stratas. Some of us are worried also that if you don't carry along the state legislature in making this bill, it is possible for it to be challenged, Mr. Speaker. And if it so challenged that you are doing a bill in a jurisdiction that also concerns us, but we are not taking into consideration in the process of making this law, Mr. Speaker, you know, as politicians, we can challenge this law in all strata of legal interpretation. And Mr. Speaker, we are members of the National Assembly. We have a name, we have an integrity, we have an image to protect. If the reason for making the right law is to take along all the stakeholders, then of course it's important that we take them along. It doesn't matter whether at the end of the day the law passes or it didn't pass. The fact remains that if we're unable to do it now, maybe another assembly will still do it. And so there's no point we try to force something on people and we feel that because the judiciary was quiet, yes, of course, you know the judiciary are not people who shout out, who cry out. If you go to the civil service, yes, the civil servant will always tell you our duty is to be heard, not to be seen. But we are talking about a law that is going to affect the assemblies and the local government legislatures, which means that if any assembly feels that this law was made without their input, they can of course challenge it. And Mr. Speaker, in our honor and integrity, Mr. Chairman, in our honor and integrity, some of us are speaking to this bill in this manner so that when this bill finally passes, we are not to be seen wanting because we didn't take our stakeholders along in propounding and passing this bill. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I thank you for your magnanimity in allowing us to express our opinions about this bill, I want you to also take into consideration that our political climate is a climate where things are tested in court. And it is better we accommodate, we bring in the stakeholders in making this law rather than not bringing them in and maybe finding them protesting because we feel that they are excluded. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, in your position as chairman today, we appeal to you that it's important that we take the right steps and get the right law propounded for this nation so that our names will be written in gold as well as in diamond. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How many point of orders are we going to take?
Mr. Chair, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's good we are guided properly, Mr. Chairman.
Point of order?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Order 4, subsection 6 and 7 of the Constitution.
Order. There is no order 4 in Constitution.
No, I'm quoting from...
I said there's no order 4 in the Constitution.
I'm quoting from
No.
section 4, subsection 6 of the Constitution.
Section?
4, 6.
Huh?
4, 6. 4 sub 6.
4 sub 6.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I read.
Wait a minute.
That the legislative
Wait a minute.
power...
Wait a minute.
Let him open his own.
Page 2.
No, it may not be the same.
Okay, it may not be the same.
You say section?
4 subsection 6.
Okay, I'm there.
Yes, sir. The legislative powers of a state of the Federation shall be vested in the House of Assembly of the state. 7. The House of Assembly of a state shall have power to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the state, or any part thereof, with respect to the following matters, that is to say, A, any matter not included in the exclusive legislative list set out in Part 1 of the second schedule of this Constitution. B, any matter included in the concurrent legislative list.
Can you take A again?
Any matter not included in the exclusive list.
Is this among the exclusive?
No.
Thank you.
That is why they have power.
No,
to
they
make
say
laws,
any matter not included exclusive.
No, you need to read 7 to understand what we are talking about. They say the House of Assembly of a state shall have powers to make laws for peace and order and good government of a state or any part thereof in respect to the following matters, that is to say, any matter not included in the exclusive
Yes.
legislative list, which this matter is not.
Exclusive or exclusive?
Exclusive.
Thank you.
Yes, this matter is
Exclusive
not
means the one reserved for us.
Yes, sir. And
Thank
this
you.
matter is not among
Go ahead.
B, any matter included in the concurrent legislative list set out in the first column of part 2 of the second schedule of this constitution to the extent prescribed in the second column opposite thereto. And C, any other matter in respect to which it is empowered to make laws in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman.
Where lies this particular one now?
No, this one is issues that are on the concurrent list, which it's the issues of public service are also in the concurrent list for that the State House.
So
of
if
Assembly
it is in concurrent
of the
list, it
states
means
can
then,
make
if
laws
they are in the
for-
concurrent list, it means then what we are doing, we are right.
Because the states have their civil service commission.
No, it doesn't stop us. When you have things that are on the concurrent, you have the right to make the state now will look at, and whichever law that comes, the suppose is the national law that would be obeyed.
Like my colleague says, our worry is just
No,
that-
you are an engineer, I'm engineer, so I'm telling you what interpretation. Simple.
Okay, give us. We are lawyers.
Which lawyer? You are a lawyer from where?
Chair.
You are not
Lawyer.
just a lawyer, you are a constitutional lawyer.
They will never allow me to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My distinguished colleagues, our G. Nombeg Dagomie Abiante. First, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you so much for exerting so much energy and putting so much effort in trying to defend this piece of legislation.
The energy?
And Mr. Chairman, it is very, very
I said, who's putting the energy?
Mr. Chairman, is very obvious.
Help me, who's putting the energy?
Mr. Chairman, is very obvious. It's very. Mr. Chairman, it's very obvious that the weight of this piece of legislation seems to be heavier than the gavel today. And we want to appeal for the sake of the integrity of this 9th Assembly, Mr. Chairman. Whatever it is, save the integrity of this 9th Assembly. Majority of members are seated, and even those that are still at home do not want this legislation to pass. Whoever is going to benefit for now, if they might pass tomorrow, whoever is going to benefit, be it my father, be it my mother, be it my younger sister, I do not care. Experience counts, yes. 30 years is more than enough. Some of us have backgrounds in the civil service. Some of us here have backgrounds in the public service. And it is 60 years or 35 years, whichever one comes first, you go home and rest. You have signed that. You knew that before you even accepted to work here. Why do you want to change and shift the goalposts in the middle of this match? And this very match have had so much extensions. We have played the full 90 minutes. We have played several extra times, and this game does not want to end. Mr. Chairman, the penalty has to be taken today. The penalty on this very bill has to be taken today. And it is our considered opinion that this should end today. It should die. Whatever has happened, we don't want to do. Save us, save the 9th Assembly of this embarrassment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Yes, after the pension, I'll come back to you, sir.
It's the same thing. I'd like to add my own opinion and voice to this very, very lively debate. As we all know, discussion, whatever it is, we're here. We all know that since about 2 years now, there has been a service-wide freeze on new employment for a very good reason by the federal government. Okay, so if there's a freeze and it's in place, in position, up to now, and we have a lot of these young people unemployed as a result. Granted, we couldn't have rendered all of them employed, all of them, but certain number of them that could have been in service, they are not in service. I think for that reason, if we will now just cherry pick the National Assembly staff for this elongation of their tenure when their own children are part of the unemployed, it could bring some connotation, right or wrong, in the mouth of many out there to say that we are doing this because people involved primarily will be part of us. I think we are all Nigerians, so I support the divide that we let things be the way they are 60. Thank you very much.
A little bit, let me, sorry, sir, leader. Then I make my statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think my own is to intervene at this point. I've heard everybody speak, and I'm of the opinion and want to appeal to House Committee Chairman on Business and Rules to move for us to step this bill down for further legislative. I'm not asking for it to be killed, but I'm appealing that he move a motion and let's step it down for further legislative work. After, when we return, we'll think further and see whether it's something that is doable. But with the mood of the House, is very negative, and I don't want us to go in this light. So I want to appeal that please, members should allow this bill to be stepped down, and let us go further to that, please.
Thank you, leader, for the wise counseling. Two, I simply want to plead with members. Nothing personal. I didn't come close to National Assembly four corners, except for the purpose of coming to make laws that I was elected by my constituents. And whatever we're going to do, the national interest should come first. This I believe. And so I want to appeal to our colleagues as we step down the bill, that some of those arguments, we may not get to the end of it. If I'm thinking A, B, C have suffered, and even where I see reasons as to why I should remedy certain situation, and I want to believe on vendetta or reason as to why ABC should not make progress, we may not make progress in this nation. I want to appeal that what is past, and the future should be our concern. I believe we need to build a very viral, egalitarian bureau for the National Assembly. I'm very proud of my colleague Sada here. Each time I speak with him, he speaks to me with authority. He gives me references and with material support. But many that are within the service today, because he's up here, don't have that kind of. And we need to expand our chest and horizon for things to move right. I want to appeal that when next we come back, let's look at the future, not the past. We have done these things similar, and I asked my colleagues, and I still want to appeal to us. Whatever that comes for National Assembly, we are the first to throw it off. If it is for outsiders, we'll be the first to give. No, we will. I'm just appealing. No. They are all our friends, they are sisters, our brothers, and so I believe what is good for the goose is good for the gander. I just told you and I reminded you we did the same thing for judicial office workers. When we were doing that, we didn't look at it that yes, we may not have the opportunity and the authority possibly to do for them. We did for teachers, and I said teachers cut across from local government to national. We all have schools established. But we did that one with speed of light, and Nigerians are celebrating us. What makes us think that we will not celebrate on this one? But I want to believe we should step down for further legislative action, dot the I's and the T's, so that when next we come, we'll be able to have. And I want to appeal. All my colleagues who have been very resilient, persistent in presence in chambers, I want to thank you. And no malice, no ill feeling. I believe we are doing this for the interest of our country. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa Krika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I'm from Jigawa State. Chairman, I move that a bill for an act to make provision for the retirement age of staff of legislative houses in Nigeria and for related matters, House Bill 1473, be stepped down by the name of the House to allow for further
Udil. Udil. Okay. Well, God help Nigeria. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think when I raise my hand to second, I think you laugh very well, because maybe it is this time that you know my stand. Thank you very much. My name is Engineer Mohammed Ali Udil, and I do second the motion as moved by the Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion, say aye. Against, say nay. That's have it. Return. You have to work on Udil and other people, so that move that will revert to plan to report progress.
Mr. Chair, my colleagues, once again, come repeat our here's the Jack Panthers in MNI. I represent Akoko Edo people. Whip, talk to those people there. Talk to those men.
Distinguished Anjuma, please. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we revert to committee to plenary to report progress. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My honorable colleagues.
You say you can't be acting with?
I'm Abubakar Maki Eleman. I stand to second the
Maki,
motion heavily moved by my
did you hear what he said?
leader. When I seconded, sir, I can respond to him.
Thank you.
I'm equal to the task. You know. So I stand to second the motion heavily moved by leader of the House. The House should go back to preliminary and report progress. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion, say aye. Against, say nay. That's have it. To revert to plenary to report progress.
Honorable Solomon, allow the deputy minority leader to concentrate. Please, you are distracting him. Honorable Solomon from Benue. Thank you. I will report you to your governor.
Why are you harassing the acting chief whip? You are harassing the acting chief
Please.
whip.
John Day. Please be seated. Please be seated. Come on, get seat. Go back to your seat.
I want to move that. I want to move that Honorable Mikey should vacate that seat for a more knowledgeable APC member.
Under which order? Under which order? You. Honorable Solomon, where are you going? Okay.
Respected colleagues, can we make progress? The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, MUBI, other master and related matters approved clauses 1 to 28, the schedules, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to establish the National Agriculture Development Fund to provide funds for agricultural development and related matters approved clauses 1 to 27, the schedule, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to establish Chartered Risk Management Institute of Nigeria to serve as a professional body for practitioners and determine the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become members of the Chartered Risk Management Institute of Nigeria and for related matters, approved clauses 1 to 28, the schedule, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to repeal the Copyright Act Cap C28 Laws Federation Nigeria 2004 and enact the Copyright Bill to provide for regulation, protection, and administration of copyright and for related matters, approved clauses 1 to 109, the schedule, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Act, CAP, N96 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Bill to provide for its organization, council, and operation, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 48, the schedule, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Act, CAP, N90 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Bill to provide efficient air navigation services in Nigeria, ensure safety and regulation of air navigation in Nigeria and to any other place which Nigeria has a responsibility of providing air navigation services and for related matters, and approved clause 1 to 57, the schedule, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. The House and the Committee of the whole consider the report of the bill for an act to repeal the Small and Medium-Scale Industry Development Agency Act 2003 and enact the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, its maiden bill, and for related matters approved clauses 1 to 31, the schedule, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to repeal the College of Education Act and enact the Federal College of Education Bill, and for related matters approved the report of the Conference Committee. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer Forensic of Nigeria, and for related matters approved clauses 1 to 24, the schedule, the long title, and of the bill. The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Joseph Sawa Tracker University, Makurdi, and for related matters approved clauses 1 to 30, the schedule, the long title of the bill. The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the bill on a bill for an act to repeal the Public Complaint Commission Act P37 Laws of Federation of Nigeria and 2004 and enact the Public Complaint Commission Bill 2022 for establishment of the Public Complaint Commission, which the powers to, with the wide powers to inquire into complaints by members of the public concerning the administration authorities of any public authority and companies on their official and provide legal framework for making public interest and for later matters. Step down consideration for further legislative action. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to amend the display and use of national flag, setting flags, and the National Code of Arms Act of 1960, and for related matters approved clauses 1 to 5, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Development and Social Studies to provide for the control of membership and promote the practice of development and social studies in Nigeria, and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 23, the schedules, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to make provision for the retirement age of staff of legislative houses of Nigeria and for related matters, and step down consideration for further legislative action. Leader, I move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My respected colleagues, members of the House, I rise to move that this House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole as reported by the Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so humbly move. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. I'm Peter Hurst, the Jack Patterson, MNI. I second the motion as ably moved by the Leader of the House. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. The Chairman rules move for the suspension of our rules to enable us to have the third reading of the bills so far considered from Bill number 24 to 33.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa Krika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that we do suspend our enabling rules to enable us to take a third reading of all the bills so considered at today's sitting. I so move.
Seconder, Chinyeri.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am Chinyeri Igwe, PhD. Mr. Speaker, I represent Port Harcourt in this hallowed chambers. Mr. Speaker, I move to second the motion as ably moved by the chairman of the Rules of Business of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. I move for the third reading of the bills as mentioned from bill number 24 on our order paper to 33 for the third reading of the bills.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my respected colleagues. I rise to move on the strength of the suspension of our relevant rules of our rules book that the House do pass to third reading item number 24 to 33 on our order paper as read by the Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move. Thank you.
Deputy Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. I second the motion as ably moved by the Leader of the House. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. The long titles of the bills.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, MUBI, Adamawa State and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to establish National Agricultural Development Fund, provide funds for agricultural development and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to establish Charter Risk Management Institute of Nigeria to serve as a professional body for practitioners and determine the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become members of the Charter Risk Managers Institute of Nigeria and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to repeal the Copyrights Act, Cap C-28, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Copyright Bill to provide for regulation, protection, and administration of copyright and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Act, Cap N96, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Bill, provide for its organization, council, and operations, and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Act, Cap N90, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Bill to provide efficient air navigation services in Nigeria, ensure safety and regulation of air navigation in Nigeria, and to any other place which Nigeria has a responsibility of providing air navigation services and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to repeal the Small and Medium Scale Industry Development Agency Act, 2003, and enact the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria Bill and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to repeal Colleges of Education Act and enact Federal Colleges of Education Bill and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Computer Forensics of Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to provide for establishment of Joseph Sawan Taka University, Makurdi, and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Chairman rules move for the suspension of our rules to enable us adopt the vote and proceedings of today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Burniwa Krika Samagudi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that we do suspend our relevant rules to enable us to adopt the votes and proceedings of today's sitting. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconda. Lowry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members, Kwamoti Bitrus Lowry, representing Numan Demsa, Lamude Federal Constituency. I second the motion as moved by Honorable Fulata. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, move for the approval of our votes of proceeding of today.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My respected colleagues, members of the House, I rise to move as directed by the Speaker that we do approve and adopt votes and proceedings for today, owing to the fact that we'll be going on recess today. And for obvious reasons, we have to do that. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I beg of your indulgence to please do that as the needful.
1 minute, please.
Yes.
Before you go to that, so it will be part of the votes and proceeding of today. Leader. Like Nasha Afani. I forgot completely. Kasa. We still have more to do the third reading, which have not been done from 5. Yeah, the paper. That means supplementary. The third reading. Third reading. Yes. Okay. Third reading. Yes. Respected colleagues, we still have 2 more bills that were considered on our supplementary list. 3, sorry. So, leader will move for the third reading of the bills because the constitution has already been done.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, sir, Mr. Speaker, I don't have to beg for their understanding because John Day and Abiante caused distractions on this road today. That's why we are going now. Abiante and John Day distracted us. So those are the reasons why we've been having issues with our order paper. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the display and use of the national flag, certain flags, and the National Coat of Arms Act of 1960, and for related matters, HP 535, and a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Development and Social Studies to provide for the control of its membership and promote the practice of development and social studies in Nigeria, for related matters, HP 1492, and also a bill for an act to make provisions for retire. This one is dropped. We don't have to take. We won't take this one, sir. So I move that these two bills be read. No, the last one will not be read. The last one was stepped down. This is in consonance with the position of the House. Or you want us to take it for third reading? Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move for the third reading of these bills, please. 4, 5, and 6. No 7.
5, 6, and 7. 5 and 6.
Stepped down. 7 stepped down for further legislative consultation. For further consultation.
Deputy Leader, But you know, we couldn't have adopted the boards and proceeding of a report that has not been considered for the third reading. We could have done that.
5, 6.
Okay.
And you can also repeat that 7 is stepped down. For them to
Mr. Speaker, sir, my dear colleagues, I am Comrade Peter Patterson. I represent the great people of Akoko Edo Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion for the third reading of bills number 4, 5, and 6. Only for the perpetual step down of bill number 7.
And the one step down? The third reading of the one step down?
Of bill number 7, Mr. Speaker. Of bill number 7, I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. To read the long title of the bills.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the display and use of national flag, certain flags and National Coat of Arms Act of 1960 and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Development and Social Studies to provide for the control of its membership and promote the practice of development and social studies in Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Thank you very much. Bill read third time and pass. Colleagues, notice of meeting. There will be a joint minority caucus meeting of the Senate and the House of Representatives tomorrow, 28th of July 2022 at 11 a.m. in Senate Committee Room 001, White House. To, what did you say? State of the party. Oh, state of the party. Well, yeah, welcome. We would like you to criticize us more so that we would give you more. Thank you. To discuss state of the nation, signed Minority Leader of the House, Honorable Man of God, Indudu Milelu. Thank you. I'm waiting for you. Respected colleagues, you may recall that sometimes last week we had a motion on need to investigate the structure and accountability of the joint venture business production sharing contracts of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation from 1990 till date. And the following for now members, maybe further input will be made later. Honorable Saji Sogun, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, Honorable Sade Soli, Adosani Kiri, Isiaka Ibrahim, Oyekule, Mark Bila, Honorable Vincent, Ofemlu, Honorable Johnson Aguma, Honorable Maki, Honorable Francis Ijero Wevi, and Said Umiga Johnson, Onichinyere Igwe, Ben Agbakwa, Nazifi Sani, Honorable Eyabo Usman Zanna, Flatter as chairman. Thank you. Move for the adjournment of the House. Leader, adjournment of the House. Well, tomorrow we'll allow you the opposition to come and... No, we'll allow you this opposition. We'll allow you the space. But I believe most of us will be retiring to go to the constituency. But for PDP who are yet to get themselves organized, you are free to stay around.
Not PDP, sir, minority caucus.
No. Okay, minority, sorry. For the minority that are yet to organize, you are free to stay here, and then you have the full space of this. We'll give you every security, every compliment.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
did our presidential election first.
Thank
and
you.
you emulated us.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My respected colleagues, I rise this evening while thanking our members for patience and commitments to national service. Move that this House do adjourn, and of course on recess, from today to the 20th day of September 2023, 2022. I'm trying to pull.
I told you.
2022, Your Excellency, by 11 a.m. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so respectively move as amended.
Thank you very much, Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our man, the man that has accepted their fate in Oshu State, and of course the incoming 2023 general election, that PDP will take over. Rising from that euphoria, I rise to second the motion moved by the House Leader, Adodogoa, I so second. However, I want to beg members, Abuja is no longer safe. Please, if possible, go back to your constituency. The place is insecure, and I'm very serious about it.
Please, he's derailing. This guy is derailing. He was asked only to second the motion. Point of order, sir. No.
I have seen, if you don't go there, you will be the casualty.
Point of order, sir. Point of order.
Well, my leader, you don't need to go that way.
It's an advice I'm giving you.
Thank you, sir.
Please, can you take your seat and be guided, please? Leader of the few, take your seat and be guided. Leader of the few here, sit down and keep quiet.
You people should tell Nigerians.
Thank you, Leader. And I want to appreciate all of us for the wonderful input we have given throughout this session. And I think I doff my cap for all of our members for resilience, contribution. And I want to appreciate that first, security is everybody's business. And we should not play politics with security, on security. Colleagues, I want to beg of us that we all need to come together, work together, think in a manner that we can sort out our issues. I believe the minority leader maybe was putting some jokes, but I do not believe that we should joke on security of life and property. And by the grace of God, Abuja is going to be secured. I do not think that we should scare our investors who are coming into the country. I do not believe that we should scare people who could come to add value to us. If Parliament would be the one to raise to set this issue, yes, there may be 1-2 issues, but it has not gone to that level to say that Abuja is not secure. I want to believe that we are quite very safe. The jailbreak started some years past. I don't want to play politics, and I will not play politics. But the jailbreak that has taken place is not from today. We know what has happened. We have the records of the various number that has taken place. Colleagues, I pray God Almighty allow us a fruitful period of break. Staff, we want to appreciate you. Our journalists, everybody that has helped to make this session fruitful, we want to appreciate all and make reward all of you and continue to strengthen us. I believe we are going to move from strength to strength. For those who are thinking that for the small, when you have a gas introduced into a bottle, it has a potency of making noise. If you are outside, the hissing noise, to believe that it's going to break the bottle. And I think this is just the replica of what the victory PDV have tested in Oshun, and they are making noise everywhere. And I believe that hissing noise will end and everything will settle and we shall have a very excellent APC. No, I said hissing noise. For my brother Sajos, who is in the level, you have returned to PDP. Let him say, have you returned to PDP? Have you returned to PDP? Okay, let me see your posting, reflecting for the progress of PDP. Let me start seeing that. But for now, I believe you are working for OB, and every member on the Joint Task Force believe you are working for OB.
I will monitor that.
Thank you.
The spokesman will monitor that.
Thank you.
This is your new repentance. The spokesman will monitor it.
I'm not campaigning for it's his postings. You see, that's the difference between the queuing behind APC under the leadership of our caucus leader, Ado. Everybody is straightforward. We are focused. We remain in one direction, and we believe we are going to deliver. Thank you very much.
That's the direction that you have misled Nigerians.
I just say nay.
Dollar is $710. Dollar 710.
Sergio's is multipurpose. Sergio's is multipurpose.
710.
Sergio's is multipurpose.
Did he mention it?
Multipurpose.
He didn't mention the date.
Yeah, no, he mentioned date now.
Did he mention the date?
He didn't mention. For abdomen.